Hey guys, this is Callum from EnglishShooting, and the channel hasn't even been up, I think, more than a week or two, and we had a bit of excitement this morning where Sean O'Neill from The Times, he's the chief reporter of The Times, came down and interviewed me. And it was primarily about the channel and EnglishShooting and it being taken down and me making the decision to shut the channel down. But it was also a fantastic opportunity to talk to him about the article that he put out a couple of weeks ago, which really sort of demonized practical shooting. Now, like most mainstream media, I had this thought that it was going to be misunderstanding, it was going to be sort of misinformation, and just a lack of understanding by Sean of how and why he wrote the article as he did. I'm not one to stand here and say they're all out to get us, because Sean was actually a really reasonable guy, and we recorded the whole thing. He might have been a little taken back to walk into a room full of cameras, but he still sat down and talked and was happy to sort of answer my questions and talk about the article and talk about practical shooting in general terms, which is not really why he came down. It was purely to talk about EnglishShooting on his part. I think the discussion, the interview went really well. I think Sean actually learned a fair amount, and I was very keen to sort of point out the errors within the newspaper in his article. He still stood by the fact that that was the information that he had at the time, and that if I didn't like what was put in the article, then to raise a formal complaint. But he still stood by the article. But I hope that if there is anything released in the future, or he wants to write about shooting in the future, I really hope that today he's maybe taken a few more positives away and learnt a little bit more about it, so that he can write the articles a little bit more accurately and maybe a little bit more balanced and not so negative on practical shooting. We also talked about many different types of firearms, and obviously being hosted at Blue Field Sports, we had many to hand that we were able to show him and give the comparison, the main one being a Ruger 1022 and a Smith & Wesson 1522, which he was very keen and quick to point out that the 1522 looked very sinister, and then I said, well, actually, they're pretty much the same gun. It's just that one to you looks scary and sinister, and this one's in a nice wood stock. I hope that really sort of sunk in for him, and he took that away, and to not really just judge guns by the look of them. We shouldn't be making laws or legislation based on the looks of things. We're far past that as a society, and just because something looks bad and scary doesn't mean it actually is. And you know, if you were to apply the same thing to people, you'd get yourself in a lot of trouble. So something as sort of serious as guns as well, that shouldn't be applied either. So we'll see what happens. I will keep you guys updated through the Facebook page and group if anything comes out, and hopefully nothing's taken out of context in the interview that we had. And of course, we've recorded the whole thing, so if that does happen, I should be able to counter that. So don't worry. I think it was an overall positive thing to do for the sport and for the channel. Just to point out that the reporters, they are people. We may not like what they write or the spin that they want to put on it, but they are people, and Sean was very open to sort of having his mindset changed and learning new things. So don't shout down these people and bully them online. Get into a conversation about them. It's about education, it's about making people aware and doing that in the most positive manner. So I just wanted to make this video to let you guys know what happened and a sort of quick summary of how it went. But yeah, keep an eye out on the channel, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, I hope to see you soon.